Hello everyone, it's Melissa and I'm back with another project share. Today I am going to be documenting my birthday from January 2020. I turned 46 and my husband did something nice and had some friends meet us at our local pizza place and we all just hung out. I had dinner with my kids because they were there as well, but then he took them home because it's close to our house. So I have 4 photos, as you can see there, and they're all printed 3x4. Also, what I'm showing you here is a layout that kind of inspired me with the way that it's on a slant, and it's a layout from Stacy Cohen from Queen & Company, and I just liked the flow of the angle there and how the title was on the top and the bottom. So as you can see here, I pulled my Maggie Holmes confetti collection, my paper pad. I also am showing you there some stickers, and those are from Crazy Creations. There's some like black outline stickers. I also pulled some American Crafts jewelry box, a pink chipboard font, and also the Skylar American Crafts stickers with the word celebrate and the hashtag. And so I also have the Happy Birthday Project Life cut apart from one of the 12x12 sheets in the confetti paper pad. And I'm toying with what I'm going to use for 46, and I ultimately decided on that jewelry box. It's an old font from my stash, so I was happy to use some bits of it and get it on a page. Now, what I didn't talk about already was my product pulls, which I did in the beginning, and that was washi tape, punches, pattern paper, thickers, tabs, Project Life card, and tags. And ultimately what I'm going to do is use one of my punches in the end and punch a tag. So kind of a win-win there for me, as I'm getting 2 of my products used basically in one. So what you see me doing there is going through a tiny envelope of bits of birthday related ephemera and cut apart scraps from that patterned paper pad, and I do get a couple bits used up, so I am pleased about that. I do use a 4x6 Project Life card to back up those 2 top photos and just cut in half. I'm going to mount these 2 bottom photos. I want it to read as one unit. You guys have seen me do this a ton of times, so I'm backing it up on, this happens to be white cardstock, but I back it up all the time on different colors to make several photos into one for, readability on my layout. So then I have another Project Life card there with some yellow on the edges, and it's very similar to the yellow in the collection, so I know I want to have that on the page. I also have a peach on the bottom there as kind of like my grounding for like my title, and my journaling is going to be there, and that's just a scrap from the paper pad. So I'm not going to make you watch me do this whole thing, but essentially I'm pulling scraps of paper from the paper collection, and I'm going to back up this sticker. And I'm going to use the cupcake liners in craft, and then down the road, I don't show you on camera, but I will end up using a yellow and a pink cardstock from my stash, as well as some of the green from the collection and some glitter tape for the candle. So this took a little bit of time, only because it's not that easy for starters. And so if you see there on the top, there's a divot in the cupcake where the candle's going in, I decided I was going to darken that bit up. Essentially, the stickers already showed me where there is going to be a shadow, and so I just went with that as a guide and darken that area in. It's just a color a little bit darker than the cardstock from my Copic marker collection, which is not much, but I do have a nice little variety. So now I'm going to go over the frosting of both of the cupcakes with my Wink of Stella glitter brush marker, and just blending it in. Some spots, some of the glitter came out a little heavy, so just blending that in over that. Now down the road, you'll see me put some dimensional adhesive on the back of that, and that will be a nice big popped up element on my page later on. And I really, really like how that turned out. It took a little longer than I wanted, but that's okay. So another thing I did off camera was I used some gold Heidi Shine mist, as well as some pink bubblegum Tattered Angels mist, and I let that dry. And I really like the way that turns out. Anytime you use mist like that all randomly and whatnot, it, reminds me anyway of confetti, and what a perfect page to put that on. Confetti look is a celebration birthday page. So I really like that. What I also did off camera was I added my journaling onto that Project Life card. And I'll go ahead and read it. And it just says the date on the top. And it says, "This was such a fun day and night for me. Matt set up for my peeps to join us at JT's Pub. So after a nice dinner with the kids, Matt took them home and came back to join the party. I got lots of great gifts, but my most favorite was from my family. I finally got my craft room Keurig. Go me. And then I have coffee, craft, be awesome, repeat. And cheers to another year." So yes, I had been wanting a coffee pot or Keurig for my craft room. So I do have my space in the basement. So anytime I wanted to refill my coffee, I had to go upstairs and blah, blah, blah. So now I have my own. So anyway, the other thing I did there was I took a cut apart from the pattern paper that says 7. I liked that green. It's the same green I used to back up the candle on the cupcake. And from Ellie Studio, since tabs was one of my pulls, I used the Everyday Tabs stamp. But instead of using the die, I used my We Are Memory Keepers tab punch. And the word I chose to stamp was Good Company. And I just used a black ink, punched it out. Here you see me adding washi tape, just a turquoisey that I thought matched the paper from my stash, and I'm putting it on a 1/2 inch piece of white cardstock. I'm doing that for 2 reasons: for stability, as well as allowing me to move it around and get it just where I want. One of the things I want to be conscious of is, although I like the angle look of that layout that I showed you in the beginning, I didn't want it to be too much of an angle. So yeah, I was worried that it was going to be too crooked. So I do fuss with it a little bit. I cut most of that out, but yeah, I was worried about it being too much of a slant, but in the end, I really like how it came out. So I'm gluing my tab onto the bottom of that picture. And like I said, I stamped Good Company. And you guys, this was such a fun day. Oh my goodness, I'm telling you. My husband, every year I feel like, oh, it's just another birthday, but I always love it. Who am I kidding? So I'm just going to put some staples on the bottom of that. What you saw me do was just glue my pictures after I rounded the corners with the We Are Memory Keeper rounded corner punch. I'm just going to put them on those Project Life cards, and I like the rounded look. I think it's fun sometimes. It gives your eye a good place to follow through a page or a project. I'm also going to round the edges of this other Project Life card, and rather than wasting a second card, I'm just going to cut that in half, round the corner, and then I will put one bit behind the Happy Birthday title card and one bit behind my photo grouping there. You see that I fussy cut out that birthday party hat. I don't end up using that, although I give it 110% of an effort to try to get it on the page. I fussy cut it out of the Project Life cut apart, and it's not that I don't like it. I just feel like the pattern on the hat is just not really flowing with what I've got going on here. So something to keep in mind if you want to achieve or duplicate this type of layout. Remember that 12 by 12, when you put it on an angle, doesn't really reach 12 by 12. That's why washi tape is a great way to achieve this look, because you're going to need a bigger piece than 12 by 12 to get across and on an angle. 12 by 12 straight is 12 by 12. On an angle, it's more like 13 or 12 and a half. So something to keep in mind. Anytime I want to do this, I always look to washi to, I mean, obviously, because you have an endless, you know, tape, so you can just make it as long as you want. You can see my puppy is on my lap getting some snuggles. And so I'm just going to work with her there. She's tiny, so it's not a problem at all. So I took the wax paper off the back of the hashtag. Those are, like I mentioned, foam thickers. And I'm just going to use, these are old thickers. And so they're going to need some glue. You can see the adhesive is basically dried out on the back of there. And so I'm going to go ahead and glue those down. The other thing you see there on the page, right on the title, is a tag that I cut. I mentioned that I used one of my punches from Stampin' Up, and I went ahead and added a silver eyelet to that. And this is going to be one of those cases where I do in fact run some crochet twine. I end up using a baker's twine, a white and a gray. It's not exactly that readable on the page, but that's in fact what I use down the road. Now, anytime I use staples or anything, I always cover them up. I'm always worried that those types of elements are going to poke through eventually. So even when I'm done with the layout here, you'll see me add some washi tape to the back, just, you know, because I like to be safe. So just balling up some gold thread from my stash, and I'm just going to have it peeking out from behind my cupcake, which I mentioned I put onto dimensional adhesive. That's just foam letters and things that I cut apart from my stash. And I really like this element. It's got a really bold statement. I mean, it's homemade piece of ephemera, which I love, and it brings your eye, follows the black from celebrate to the cupcake down to the hashtag. And I think it's really great. And yeah, in the end, I'm super pleased with how this page turned out. I think birthday pages are always so much fun because you just get to pull out all the stops and be as festive as you want. So yeah, so if you are new to my channel, I would love for you to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. I would also love if you checked out my other social media links. I'll put them in the description box below. You can find me over on Facebook and Instagram. And yeah, like I said, I would love for you to subscribe. I usually post a new one once a week, usually on Fridays. And I am really enjoying these process videos. They do take a little bit more time, but they're not hard. So I'm just, you know, plugging away at them as I get a chance to. I'm almost up to 60 now, which, I mean, I know people are in the hundreds, but I just started like a year ago. And so if I'm getting one done a week, well, that's that's good enough for me. So yeah, you see me adding washi tape to those staples, just cutting off the extra bits of paper. If you guys have any questions regarding this layout or any of the product on this page, it is older, so but I would, you know, be happy to answer any questions you have. You can leave them in the comment section of this video. You'll see here at the end that the last bit that I end up adding to this page is in fact sequins, and I'll go ahead and add that right onto my happy birthday title / journal card. And it's just a mix of sequins from my stash, but I am really pleased with how this page turned out, and I think I documented my birthday beautifully. So yeah, thank you guys so much for taking time out of your day watching this layout. If you made it to the end, I truly appreciate it. And like I said, a thumbs up would be lovely. Subscribe, of course, if you're new. I'll see you next week. And yeah, have a good one, guys.